to what do you look for when you're building brands. So at the outset, I'd just like to tell you that you must understand that life without brands is insipid. And one truth is that consumers, customers, whether you're in B2B or B2C, do not buy products. They do not buy services. They buy brands. So one of the things which is important for small business or medium business is to have tall brands. And if you have tall brands, then your small business can become big business. I'm going to take you through 5 sections of my experience, what I call crisp branding, and what are the abilities or astras, as I call them, weapons that you need in brand building. So free of charge, you got a checklist, go back tomorrow, see this checklist of 18 brand astras and either put a tick or a cross and find out whether in your business and your brand you have that ability or no. If you don't, quickly get it. And if you have, strengthen it. The first C is consideration set. Consideration set means you should be considered. You're selling heavy machinery, you're selling an educational service, you're selling a product, you're selling anything. You need to be considered. If you're not considered by customers or consumers, you're out. Consideration set means that if you're buying a television, and there are 40 brands of television, you actually have shortlisted 3 or 4. And then you go to the dealer, negotiate, see the features, see the price, see the terms, and pick up one. Out of 40, you shortlisted 3 or 4. That's the consideration set, the shortlisting. I have a simple brand mantra. In your product or service or your brand, you will either have reliability or you'll have liability. There is no midway. So availability is the second ability in consideration set. The third one, acceptability. Your product or service should be acceptable. You go to a restaurant, beautiful girls dancing, lovely music, excellent upholstery, wonderful ambience, food is shit. You're not acceptable. Ultimately, you wait for what? I had to impress you, have 2 moblongs in my pocket. Supposing one of them is with diamonds and all that. But it doesn't write. What is the use? Acceptability is core. Go back to basics. Dhanda basically hota hai. Okay? And then when you give talks, you can give those high-flying talks. But when you're doing business, if you want to be considered, these 3 abilities, availability, reliability, acceptability, 3 abilities lena, 3 astra lena zaruri hai. This is important for you to understand that you must position your brands distinctly. You have to be able to understand your audience, what is the core value, and then position it accordingly. And this can happen in services and products, whether B2B, whether B2C, in all. And your identity gets identified by that. The last part of identity, which is my own experience, is your brand must be respectable. No one likes to buy a brand which is not respectable. A lot of people come up with cheap stuff, a lot of people come up with obscene stuff, a lot of people come up with something which is not respectable. And those brands don't last. So you must make sure that your brand is respectable, right? You may flirt with anything, but you get married to someone who's respectable. So consumers also do that. While they try out many things, but they stick to someone who is respectable and they buy that regularly. Okay? These are respectable brands. And over the years, you will find in the top 10 brands, the most admired, respected brands, these names always come in. Because it takes a lot effort to build that identity. Let me come to the second last, or the penultimate section of CRISP, which is the S part. Search. You need to be adaptable. You need to have the ability of being adaptable. Adaptability is very clear. When the Koreans came in with the refrigerators of 365 liters, it didn't work because Indians were used to 165. They did not store food for 2 weeks. They went and bought fresh food every day. So you have to be able to understand that. Similarly, I gave you the Monginese example, which is now over 700. I insisted, and the client is a non-veg client. It's boring. I insisted that he should start launching 100% vegetarian cakes. So he says, no, how can you do that? Eggless cakes. Today, it's 100% vegetarian eggless cakes with Monjanese does. And the business is growing. Many people have misunderstood the concept of brand marketing. They think it's a spending concept. Let me correct it. It is an earning concept. You're supposed to earn through marketing. If you spend 1, you're supposed to get 100. A lot of people say, no, we are still in the brand building phase. For the last 20 years, we are making loss. And for the next foreseeable future, I think we are going to continue doing it. I know I come across these modern trade guys. One modern trade guy is very good. I have great respect for him, but some of the other 1,600 stores got closed down. It's called Subiksha, I believe. Right? So someone like in this forum asked me that what consultancy would you give? So I said, the only thing I will tell him is change his name. Well, what would you call it? I said, from Subiksha, I'll call it Biksha. Learn to do basic dhanda. I have never seen a Pan Bidi Dukan close down today in the last 50 years. His cash flow, his relationship, his inventory management is terrific. 18% of all FMCG sales happen through Pan Bidi shops. Only 6% happen through modern trade. And they are considered unorganized. And this is supposed to be organized trade. When you come to the next one, durability, it must be long lasting, otherwise what's the point? And therefore, these brands reflect that. That's the ability you need to have. When you come to the other abilities, the penultimate one, second last one, capability. Enhance your capability. Many years ago, we enhanced the software brand. No one has been able to touch it or compete with it. It's called Tally, accounting software. Very well built, strong with various versions. And the last astra which I'd leave you with is usability. You have a mobile phone. It has so many applications, but you use only few of them and call it killer applications. Why are you not educated to use more? If the usability increases, the perceived value goes up. If the perceived value goes up, the brand value goes up. If the brand value goes up, price goes up. So the last part is usability. Monjanese, create usability. He said, go ahead, celebrate. Celebrate just for the sake of it, on your birthday, anniversary, whatever. We have a very interesting client, natural ice cream. Enjoy it, home delivery. But you need to have more and more usage, then your brand grows. So finally, these are 18 brand astras or weapons or abilities that I have shared with you to be able to have small businesses becoming big businesses to build tall brands.